40 years ago, people weren't complaining about Asians coming here. The complaints were about Southern Europeans, Italians and Greeks. Each of those groups, of course, is now firmly established, contributing to Australian society. But in the Australian Greek community, the name of Castellorizo remains very precious, very special. It's barely more than a 3-mile square rock in the Aegean Sea, but a surprising number of prominent Aussies once called it home. This is that lonely speck on the map. 12 hours by ferry from the nearest tourist trap in the Greek islands. But Castellorizo is the place so many well-known Greek Australians originally called home. Adelaide judge John Kiasogoulos.
The serenity, the beauty, the calmness, the waters are so peaceful and warm. Yes, I often get that urge to want to leave it all and go there.
You sail into a little harbour lined with whitewashed houses. Just a couple of hundred people live here now, but in Australia there are 50,000 who call themselves Cassies. Either born on the island or second generation like Mick Michael, former Lord Mayor of Perth.
Well, I think, your grassroots are always beautiful. It's always good to discover them.
So who are these Cassies? Their houses look more Turkish than Greek because they live on the edge of Asia Minor, and in their heyday, they were traders to the world. But no matter where they sail, the Cassies never forget their island.
But it is strange that from that island they should have developed a track to Australia. As other islands go to other places, but Cassies seem to come to Australia.
George Georges, the ex-senator from Brisbane. He was born in Australia, but his father came from this little Greek island where they still fly the Aussie flag. Cassies were among our first Greek immigrants, and when they got to Australia 100 years ago, they had to stick together to survive. Another Cassie son, Federal Minister Nick Bolkus.
They stuck together because of fear of the outside environment, and they worked together as a community very strongly.
A Cassie wedding in Sydney. This is where you see how close their community is. The father of the bride, Basil Galettis, has spent half a century in Australia, but when he gives away his daughter Helen, it's in the old way that you hardly see anymore, even in Greece.
I remember talking to my auntie in Athens and explained to her that I had all the lead up where they pinned the veil and did all the singing, and she was amazed, that they don't even remember the songs, let alone to go through the rigmarole of the lead up to the wedding.
When Helen marries Bill Cladakis, it's a real Cassie ceremony, a bit of Greek and a bit of the Aussie lingo.
The servant of God William is crowned for the servant of God Helen.
And where does a Cassie bride dream of going for her honeymoon? Where else but Castellorizo, the island she's heard about but never seen. For Helen, it's like a Greek myth coming to life. It's a voyage she finds deeply moving.
Yeah, I was sort of really anxious. I couldn't wait to get to see what the place looked like. And when I saw it, I thought, is this it? Here it is. I finally... And it was funny because we were sitting on the boat and I said to Bill, I thought I heard Dad call. Remember? And it was a really vivid sort of Eleni, the way he always calls. And I thought, that's really strange. I've never had that sort of experience. And then when I saw the place, I thought, oh, look at it. It's beautiful. How could they have left it?
They fall in love with the clear blue sea. The water's so warm, you can paddle around for hours. If you come to Castellorizo, you have to swim in the grotto. Inside a narrow opening, there's a limestone cave lit by sunlight filtering through the sea. And in Castellorizo, you never know who you're going to bump into. If you're a Cassie, you can't come here without meeting a cousin or two.
Because Rose is my first cousin. Her mum and my dad are brothers and sisters.
Oh, that's it.
Steve Adgemis is from Melbourne, but it was only across the world in Castellorizo that he got to meet his Sydney relative for the first time.
I just can't believe that I come all the way to Castellorizo and meet Angelo's brother.
Do you feel you're Greek or Australian?
A bit of both. You know, sort of being here, I feel Greek, you know, walking around the streets and listening to everybody and sort of thinking, oh, this was where my parents were or my grandparents were, and that side of me feels Greek. But then when I start talking, I realise I'm just so Australian.
Hello, how are you?
No, hello.
Are you an Aussie?
Yes.
Aussie Greek.
You know who she is?
No?
Galetis.
See, we have to do the pedigree.
Galetis, you know, my friend, the
You
tailor.
always have to do the pedigree.
Oh, shut up.
You wouldn't say to Mr. Smith, how's your grandmother, would you?
No.
That's Cato.
I'm Vasily Galetis'.
You know, Bill, my
right.
friend.
Oh, how lovely.
Gwen has been married to Nick Pitsonis for 40 years. Long enough, she reckons, to know what a weird mob the Cassies are.
Talk about yourself, you dirty old man.
Gwen, did you know what you were getting yourself into when you married a Cassie?
No, if I'd known, I would never have done it.
You're kidding.
It's no truth. She's been running after me for bloody 4 years before she caught up with it.
4 years before she caught you?
Yeah.
Nick and Gwen love their holidays in Castellorizo. It's 70 years since Nick was born here, and some of the locals have trouble keeping up with him.
One Islander here just asked us recently, this is the honest truth, he said to Nick, your wife's English, isn't he? And he said, yes. He said, can you understand what she's saying? That's the truth.
How do you communicate? I says, I'll wait till I get to bed and then we...
It works, does it?
It was fair dinkum.
Although there are a few locals who never left the island, the old traditions are disappearing. The only time you'll catch a glimpse of the true Cassie costume is on Sundays. After church, a young fella still goes fishing, just like his father did and his father before him. What is it about the place?
Well, I'm damned if I know what it is, you know. Everybody that comes here, they love it. And it just seems to drag you here. Even my family, my children, when they come here, they want to come back again.
Michael Barbutis left the island over 60 years ago and made his fortune in Australia. He's an MBE, Commodore of Sydney's Royal Motor Yacht Club, but his passion is the history of Castellorizo. How many wars has this little island been through?
It's innumerable, you can't count them. There were the Turks that occupied it, the Italians, the French, the Venetians. I mean, you can see from the castle up there where the Crusaders went through. Well, that hill across there was full of homes and quite well-to-do people living there. And you've seen photographs of the harbour with ships all around it. And as I said, they used to go out loaded with merchant items around the Mediterranean and back again. Well, the Second World War was the end of the line. People just couldn't stand it anymore, particularly when this place was bombed by various countries, Italians and Germans, and of course when they burnt the place out, that was it.
If you were born on Castellorizo, like Michael Barbutis or Nick Pitsonis, it's heartbreaking to see it today.
I can still cry now.
Because they told him of the devastation. And you can see it, you know, when you first come in, but he didn't realise how bad it was. Because this is, what, 1971, isn't it?
71. When I saw those beautiful three-storey houses, rubble on the ground like nothing, I just couldn't believe it was the same island. It broke my heart. It was unbelievable, the feeling I had inside of me. I wanted to jump in the sea and drown myself. I didn't want to look at it.
I remember it very distinctly. It was a great place. It's very sorry to see it like that, yeah.
That hill over there, was that all destroyed from the war, Michael?
Yes, the war caused that. The fire, the big fire that took place. Destroyed Castellorizo. Take me off the camera. I feel very emotional.
It's what they lost and left behind that made the Cassies struggle so hard when they got to Australia. We invited some of the best-known Cassies from all around Australia to a Greek luncheon at Sydney's Castellorizo Club. They all said it was where they came from that made them who they are.
The environment has something to do with it. And the tyranny that's been imposed upon the island has something to do with it.
And being of an ethnic race and not Anglo-Saxon perhaps makes you strive a little bit more.
There were difficult times for our people, and it was their zeal, their enthusiasm to see the family get on, their courage that has allowed us to be in the position where we are today. And I certainly, for my part, owe it all to my parents.
For Castellorizo, the glory days are gone. A handful of little boats are all that's left of the great merchant fleet. But if you sail in here with an Aussie flag or just an Aussie accent, you'll get a warm welcome, because the lifeblood of Castellorizo is now in Australia. It's the Cassies on the big island down under who keep this little island going.
No matter whatever happens, there is no sweeter home than coming back to Australia. And our loyalty and our love is to Australia first, but we are proud of our roots.